I see no mic on the orbs.
That's a lie. It's a complete lie.
Now we got time.
Now. Sorry
Anyway,
about that.
to start
Let's
again.
try that again. So what I was saying is, for anybody who doesn't know us as the DOP crew, we are Snipe Hunter, Olmbois, Verde, Manzana, of the Revival team, aka Skyward Star. So, since we're all the same people, we figured that we would just use the DOP crew channel to kind of give you guys an update on what we've been doing and you know, where we're going to go next after the unfortunate news about Revival.
Great. Figure we keep you in the loop, tell you what's going on here in the studio, show you some artifacts of previous projects.
Indeed, indeed. This is actually basically kind of a wall of all kinds of related stuff that we've done. But yeah, so this is the Skyward office. It's backwards in your image, but you can see the Skyward logo that I'm pointing to, which is funny because it's a guy pointing.
It's cool. There's one over here in the street.
You can also see it over there. So let's get started. So first of all, anybody who doesn't know, Ilphonic had to suspend the production of Revival, which left those of us who were, you know, directly dedicated to it in kind of a tough spot. We had to figure out
what are we going to do, you know, for
what are we going to
work?
do, how are we going to make this thing happen, because we want to make this thing happen. It's important.
We absolutely do.
So, the good news is the very first thing we did was ask the guys at Ilphonic, hey, what's going to happen to the IP? Because we spent a lot of time working on it and we want, you know, control of this. And they were like, well, of course. Pretty much
Super forthcoming
that
with,
quickly, you know.
with that kind of stuff. They've been really cool about that.
So, we have the IP now, or rather we're in the middle of finalizing the deal for that IP. But at least in principle, we have the IP. And so the first thing that we're doing is setting up a place that's kind of all things Teleston, everything about the world that Revival was going to give to you.
Right. And that is at teleston.com. So
well, it will be. It's not up yet.
Yet.
That's what actually we're working on, and we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, so we're setting up a place for us to develop the IP, and we're continuing to develop the IP. So look, we're three guys here plus one more that doesn't work in the same office as us, and so we're not building an MMO. That's just not possible yet.
I mean, unless I hit the lottery tonight. If I hit Powerball this week, I'm totally hiring up. But the issue is the hiring up and the ability to, you know, to payroll the talent we would need to build our back end and produce art. And those are our two biggest bottlenecks, you know.
That said, we are pretty resourceful people, so there are lots of other things that we can do to keep moving forward. A really good example of that is what our primary focus is going to be for the next few months, which is building a pen and paper tabletop role-playing game system based out of the sort of spirits of and mechanics of Revival. It'll be a collaborative storytelling you know, game where player and storyteller build their adventures together.
An interactive storytelling system.
Exactly.
Based in the world and lore of Teleston, which we wrote. And so this is kind of going back to our roots in a lot of ways, because I've been playing pen and paper role-playing games since I was 7 years old, and there was a long time in my life when I was running convention games and going to cons and doing the tabletop talk, and you know, and so that's not a far reach for me to, you know, slide back into that if I can. I also have friends that work selling pen and paper games at cons. I have established connections kind of in that world. So it is flashing back about 20 years.
Yeah, we actually we have a history. We used to run World of Darkness tournaments out in LA at local game conventions about 5-6 times a year. And in a lot of ways, that's how we got some of our first jobs in the industry. Correct. So this is kind of going back to our roots.
In a lot of ways. So we're pretty confident that we can get you know, some core rules done and a source book, because the lore, you know, the lore's that it's all here and in my books and in my documents, you know, between my diaries, the stories we wrote, and all this. We have enough world for a source book, right? For, you know, what in the 90s would have been a D&D boxed set.
Right. And
I've been instead of using someone else.
Yeah.
system we're gonna
we have our own, right? Because we've been literally spending a really long time at this point. But even just on Revival itself, we spent a good 18 months building mechanics and systems that weren't even going to go into the game yet for a while. And so we have everything from the stuff that maybe a pen and paper game doesn't need, like detailed crafting mini games and things like that, but up to mechanics for how storytellers can administrate an agenda, even the system of agendas, the idea of obfuscated data that is a kind of a core spirit of the mechanic. All of these things can translate into pen and paper in really interesting and unique ways, and we've already done the work on developing a lot of that. So it's more like translating it from one language to another than it is starting everything from scratch.
From scratch, correct. And again, the world we just have to translate into text. And then also, I think we have an opportunity to do some cool stuff, and being who we are, we tend to not pass those up. And one of those things is to address the things that I've seen over a long time of
I'll answer that.
Of playing tabletop games and administering tabletop games, and the cuts I've made to AD&D, which is where I started. Did a lot of D&D before I moved into Storyteller, Vampire the Masquerade, and the things that they did after that. And I've played a few other systems since. I've played the new Star Wars system, which has got some
the Fantasy Flight one.
Tricks, the Fantasy Flight.
That one's cool.
And some pretty cool tricks, and so I've tasted a lot of these RPG systems throughout many years. I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but if I started at 7, it's a lot of fucking years. And there are things that I cut and things that I put in, and I've kind of got my own system. If you were to sit at my table, you would end up playing sort of a hybrid that is the amalgam of all these things. And so there are things I think we would like to address, such as the concept of interactive storytelling. I didn't make up. It's been studied actually for probably about 30 years.
Yeah, just about.
No, well, it's mostly it's a crossover of narratology and ludology, and mostly it's attributed to electronic systems of creating stories from what they call glyphs, or sometimes just root ideas. And I think that we would succeed. One of the key parts of interactive storytelling is that neither the machine nor the player, so neither the dungeon master nor the player, knows the pinnacle, knows where the end of the story is going to go. You have a lot of ideas, but you don't, either one of you really know where it's going to go.
Yeah, so you might have a goal, but that doesn't guarantee you're going to get there.
Right. So a big part of the game ends up being the story you guys create together. So it's as much play for the DM as it is for the player, and I think that's a thing to solve, because often the dungeon master is burdened with all of the rules and all of the minutia and the keeping track of everything.
As well as all of the creative burden.
Not
all of that's
a big chunk of the creative burden, right? Which is why we resort to modules, because that offloads all of that into this little other pack. But then now it's a railroad, and what player wants to play on a fucking railroad? Plus, if I've read, Temple of Horrors, or any of those, Temple of Elemental Evil.
Yes.
You mean Tomb of Horrors and Temple of Elemental Evil, which I read. But you read either, all get shanghaied in the beginning, right? And say you are me, and you're playing a barbarian, a tough dude, and your ideation of this dude is that he's your stereotypical shaven-headed, big gold ring. Yeah, you're right, but if you're not, you're not. So here's an idea. Yes, the Tomb of Horrors. It was a Tomb of Horrors. It started out as a Tomb of Horrors.
Yes.
But became a Tomb of Horrors.
Yes. That's an inside joke, sorry.
But so the thing with railroads is, imagine this. Imagine your dungeon master is, I don't know,
playing some Pirates campaigns.
Yeah, let's say there was a Pirates campaign just off the top of my head. And your players all get shanghaied in the beginning, right? And say you are me, and you're playing a barbarian, a tough dude, and your ideation of this dude is that he's your stereotypical shaven-headed, big gold ring, muscle-bound dude. Maybe gets a tulwar or a scimitar.
Mr. Clean and Pantaloons.
Right, exactly. Mr. Clean in pantaloons, right? Standing on the deck of the ship, waving a scimitar. That's your character ideation. That's what you've made, right? And you get drugged to death, which I'm not sure I got to roll on my Constitution against that. Maybe I did. I'm not sure. Anyway, you get drugged and you wake up at sea on this pirate ship, and you're being conscripted, and you're gonna look for your first chance to shove anything sharp through your oppressor, right? Or knock that fucker overboard.
That's a fair cop.
Especially
Right?
if
You're
there's
gonna
a
kill that dude.
talkative, uppity magus fuck who's all like, dude, this sort of second in command dude
We were
here
just
is a
kidnapped.
douchebag.
Right,
You
right. If you-
kidnapped me, you're
So
wicked.
this
you have
module
this
is
sort of-
going off the rails immediately.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Any opportunity I have to knock one of these fuckers who drugged me and took me out to sea into the ocean, I'm going to try. Plus, I'm a muscle-bound oaf, so I can probably overpower anybody that doesn't know I'm about to, I don't know,
Yep.
hit him with a long arm.
It's all about circumstances.
Right?
Exactly what's
You
accidents.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to him. He drowned. Oh, I didn't mean to break his neck so hard before I pushed him over. Right? But it was a matter of make my strength roll and shove. And since I'm the barbarian, I'm all strength rolls.
Yep.
Right.
Just happened to be.
And the DM
Five
just
knots.
doesn't kind of let this happen because that's going to take this story off the rails. And you got this, ooh, thank you very much for the follow.
Hey, Snathro,
It's
thanks.
a snap throw. Nice to
Lauren,
see you
good health
here.
to you.
But so, yeah, imagine that, but your DM has invested weeks in reading this, giant module that's going to go on this epic story and all this. Meanwhile, your character, if I'm playing my character, man, I'm looking for any opportunity to kill this fucker, steal this boat, break this dude's neck, do whatever. And your GM's not going to let that happen because they invested so much in their story and their
Yeah,
authorship.
to be fair,
Where
that's
it's
not
going.
even a module problem. That could be a campaign problem no matter what. Right?
Exactly. We need to fix that because it should be fun for everyone, and that me responding in that way should be fun for my DM, not frustrating. So that's something I seek to solve with this.
Yep. And we have some pretty cool ideas about how to do that. Though to be fair, we haven't spent a lot of time to date since the announcement working on the pen and paper system ourselves. So yeah, so actually, why don't we explain what's happened since that moment, right? So the very first thing we did, like I mentioned, was figure out if we were going to get the IP and what we were going to do.
Correct.
Next, we dusted off some old websites, or rather some old domains that we had, and started setting up websites. In fact, let me see if I can give you
Being
a
that
real quick preview.
Ilphonic has been our primary client.
There we go.
One of our primary clients for so long, we sort of let our Skyward Star site sit untouched, and
In fact, here. So all we really did
we had to clean that
here
up.
was set it back up using, something that doesn't suck. But right, so like we spent, the first couple of days finding a new client so that we could actually keep the lights on while we worked, dusting off our old corporate website, and then of course making sure that we owned Teleston.com and
So that we could get started on.
And mind you, everything you're seeing here is super raw because it's literally just roughing
fresh.
out the way the format's going to work. So like you'll have your banners that will take you to various sections of the site. You have a section that gives you news, a section for images or new stuff that's going on the site. There'll be a section on lore, which I think is still just a skeleton, so I don't think it has any really good.
No, I'm writing a bunch of that right now.
Okay.
Which is really a matter of taking it long form out of my brain and sticking it into web-friendly blurbs. Also, I'm, you can't say everything on the web in the blurbs.
Yeah,
you got to
I'll fix that.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry to talk over you. I was laughing because Baby Cannon pointed out that Ilphonic is listed twice on our list of clients. And yes, they are. But we've actually worked with them 4 times.
Yeah.
So that's actually only half representing the truth.
Yeah. I wonder, do we have every iteration of, do we have Net Devil, Worm Bite,
Net Devil,
End
Gazillion,
Games?
Worm Bite, Good Luck, Have Fun.
Good Luck, have fun.
Actually, I don't think we've done anything.
I don't
for
think we
that,
have. But hey, shout out to Good Luck, Have Fun.
they're good guys. And then, last but not least, there'll be a section on the tabletop role-playing game. which is almost nothing right now. But this is where that'll go, right? And so I spent most of the last couple of weeks getting the site set up, making sure that we actually had, WordPress and had the configuration and plugins and all that stupid crap that we needed. And actually, the very first 2 days were literally spent rebuilding this place because
rebuilding your office.
we hadn't been in our own office in literally 18 months.
Yeah, a very long time.
Like the furniture had been moved out, the equipment had been moved out. I had to rebuild systems.
Cat tree.
Well, the
Cat tree stayed.
Yeah, the cat tree stayed because we have cats here. So yeah, that took literally 2 days, and that was our first week. That's actually a really good question, Watts. I think we will do a print run as long as there's enough interest to do so, right? And we'll probably do that via something like Kickstarter.
I was going to say, we might even,
if we can't raise enough money to do it right, we ain't going to do it.
Correct. So the thought is probably that we'll do all the layup, the writing, everything as though it's going to be print, which I have some experience in, albeit it's a little over 20 years old. And when that's all done, we'll price it, and then we'll see what we'll do, either Kickstarter or Patreon, or not Patreon, but Indiegogo, or some funding method where we can show portions of the PDF as examples and say, this is what it's going to cost to do the print run, this is what you're going to get. It's not about a profit run, it's about making this a physical object for all you guys, and then if it does extra well, we have something to reinvest and start kicking out new products.
Exactly. So one of the other things that we're going to do is compile the lore into a series of ebooks, so that there's a collection of short stories you can read, etc. Those will be promoted up on the site somewhere as well too. Maybe in a special fiction section, but probably just in the lore section that's already there on the site.
That's my thought.
So many of the founders probably know that for this effort we've already set up a Discord server. And the Discord server can be reached. Let me get.
Well, it's only going to be a 24-hour link.
No.
Oh, you get a special link. Where would I put my coffee cup? I don't know.
Oh wait, that's not the right one.
Oh, coffee cup.
It's over there.
Will you hand me my coffee cup, please, there?
There it is. Okay. Oh, that's ridiculous. All right, I will generate a new 24-hour link because max uses no limit, expires never.
That's rich.
Generate copy that clipboard. Right. Now then, where was I? Hold on. First of all, let's get back here. Hi, everybody.
Oh.
All right. Paste.
Tell them it just went full slinky.
There. So that link that I just pasted into the chat, that'll get you into the general channel of our development Discord. So one of the things that we tried to do with Revival was be as public as we possibly could. And when you're working for big companies, that means different things than when you're a small indie group. The world that Revival was set in, or any of our plans for working in it, then by all means, please come at least hang out.
Yeah. Man, you guys are seriously some of the best community we've ever had. We would like to just grow that and keep the camaraderie and the coolness.
It means a lot that you guys kind of shared this dream with us, and we don't want to leave that behind.
Absolutely.
Some of the best community we've ever had. We would like to just grow that and keep the camaraderie and the coolness.
It means a lot that you guys kind of shared this dream with us, and we don't want to leave that behind.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so that's sort of the status update of where we are and kind of what we've been doing. I don't know that we have much else to show off today, but we can certainly answer questions. If maybe Rose wants to moderate, she could feed us the questions that you guys are asking.
If anyone's, I don't think we have the queue capture.
We don't have QBot, though I could build that into Dope Crew Bot.
Would be easy enough.
That's another thing I should include in updates here, because
Oh yeah,
in my spare time I'm working on our chatbot, which may or may not be alive right now.
you guys are you
Wow.
You've met the Dope Crew bot.
You know the Dope Crew bot has been up for a week now?
Really, with no.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
That means it works.
I should have gone.
So, Snipe Hunter has built Dope Crew bot from scratch himself, every bit of it, because we needed some botliness that other things weren't doing for us, and in them we got to put a little revival flavor, which is all of these cards. Oh, look, that's a rare card.
Yes. Nice.
Northern Zed. That would be like a 0 from North. Anyway, so yeah, I built a bunch of cards, and those are themed. And imagine my surprise when in doing research for our website copy and the role-playing game, advertisement stuff, marketing, etc. I found that Wizards of the Coast is releasing, or rather one of their publisher lackeys, because nowadays it appears Wizards of the Coast just licenses D&D to whomever it is wants to produce their product for them.
Well, it's because they got bought like 7 million times.
Yeah. But so some company now is producing a deck of cards in the theme of Ravenloft for the return of Straw.
Oh yeah, I forgot. It's Strahd Von 2016.
I
Exactly.
agree with you once.
Straw. So there's a physical card deck they're making, and physical cards I also know how to lay up and have printed, and I've actually done a print run of that. We would need art,
But I agree.
but I have the full set of cards already written, and I even know how to do the readings with them.
Writer deck, I'm sure that
It would be super fun, I think.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's another product that's
a good
on
call.
the way. It's just
agree.
because it would be
that
more
one
like
is
peasants.
actually would require some Photoshop layup time or
Yeah,
some
you could too.
Illustrator layup time. But if I had art,
Yeah, no
I
problem.
could chip
It's in
that.
my draw.
No problem at all.
I don't know how you feel.
Another thing I'm working on for you guys is a map of Crown's Rock and a map of the known world of Teleston, done in a Broggian style. So
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, Imhotep is not in a great place to do net stuff. Like,
at present,
yeah, I mean he's cool. It's not an emergency or anything like that, but he's not living in a cool like internet friendly world.
situation. That's why you haven't seen any of his shows lately. And
Yeah.
he does do some pretty great Photoshop
He
and
does.
also good layout. He's a born and bred comic book fan.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, absolutely, and old like NES games and stuff. So like,
Yeah.
if you don't know, the credit screen you'll see when we sign off is actually a parody of the Solstice art from the back of the box.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite NES games of all time, by the way. So nice. And being that he was my little brother, he got to see a lot of Solstice.
Exactly.
Shut up! You're making me screw up, man. If you don't shut up, I'm making you go out of my room.
The size.
Teleston is
Um,
freaking huge, Watts.
Yeah, how big is
The known world is actually
Teleston and
a
Earth
very
units?
small piece of Teleston, and that's kind of
Yeah,
you
that's-
can
that's
extrapolate
the
it
It's
a little bit based
bigger than Earth.
Bigger
on
than Earth?
Yeah.
right
Okay.
on
We
how
can tell
long
you it's
things
bigger
go.
than Earth, so it's at least 1 point something Earth units. Which
It is a mega
form
Earth.
of
It's giant.
measurement.
Yeah, there's a hell of a lot more to the world than Revival was probably ever
yeah.
going to show you, for that matter. So one of the exciting things about the pen and paper is we'll be able to bring a lot of these locations that we're going to be like, well, if we run for 10 years, we could probably
We can get you all the
here.
way
Yeah.
to exactly. Yeah. In fact, the piece of Teleston that Crown's Rock is basically the kind of center of, and then you have Anacotha and some
Yeah.
Gray Shore down here. But this little piece is actually Southern Hemisphere, and it's kind of just a little segment from nearish the equator, down, and it doesn't even get all the way down to the pole.
In that planet's southern tropics, though, you're totally right.
Yeah, it's basically southern. Yeah, it's the southern tropics, more or less. And that's why the climate is the way it is. It does make sense, I promise.
Yeah, we actually spent a lot of time figuring out why our seasons worked the way they did, and what that had to mean for the planet, and
Yep.
it was kind of cool. It'll be interesting to see how that translates into the pen and paper, because on the one hand I can see people saying don't bother, but it was a cool aspect of the world that had a lot of significant implications.
9
on
months of
how
winter,
it
man.
lives, right?
9 months of summer too.
And I think that's interesting for the setting, and so I'm fighting to keep it personally.
Yep.
But
I don't know. It's up to us. We are going to keep it. We're just going to put a model in somewhere, just drawing.
It's important
Yep.
to selling the setting.
Right. The thing is, your player characters don't really know.
Hey.
The Broguines
Mhm.
do, but
I can release my clock now.
yes.
You can.
Interesting.
More on the website. Ah, you
yeah,
can put that
I
on
will
the
put
website.
that on the website.
Dude, you can put what time is it in Teleston.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Just a little thing.
You can have it a phone app
That's
as
pretty
well.
fucking sexy.
Yeah.
Download our phone app.
But yeah, so part of the story, and it's important too. That part of the current IP is that the players don't know everything in the world and only have a limited sort of bit of history, and that allows so much of the game to be more about investigation and exploration and individual stories, and the scope of the
Yes.
world.
Good idea, baby cat.
The scope of the world is large enough that your refs, your dungeon masters, can take you off in crazy cool ways.
Yeah.
Totally different adventures. And then we have the planes on top of that, and we have the realm of death and what happens after you die, and it's a pretty cool world
It
with a
is.
lot of potential for neat adventure. I think all in one spot, one cohesive ball.
Also, lots of books.
Oh yeah. you
Yes,
will get a
eventually
Star
you will get a star chart, though I'll have to draft that for
Trek.
you.
And I am gonna make dope.
That's
about
gonna be
tell you the
meticulous
time
as
and
fuck.
tell us.
Yeah, that's not even
Yeah, it's not hard
difficult
at
for
all.
you.
Well, it would have to be like the Greenwich Mead of Telus.
Well,
Yeah, that's how it works.
it would be Skypass time.
Oh yeah, because that's where they did that, or the Broguines did
Because the
that.
Broguines were they're the closest thing to an unbroken thread that we have.
That's good. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. It's actually how it works in the code.
Mm-hmm.
Is it takes UTC, so it takes Greenwich Mean Time and converts that.
That's great. It's fucking awesome.
So yeah.
Cool.
That's,
Well,
that's what we're
so
up to.
are there more questions? I thought I saw some scroll by. I can scroll back up and look.
Yeah, I don't have my chats. Where they are.
So while they're looking for that baby cannon, this is a programmable LED layout that does bit art, and right now it's set to a wizard standing on a cliff in a storm, looking over a castle, and every once in a while a thunderbolt and lightning happens, and it's pretty fucking awesome. That's what that is.
Yeah, it's basically a 64 by 64 pixel art display. And it's all like Bluetooth, so I can, any one of us can take our phone, open the app, and put a new thing of pixel art. But that one over there is my favorite. So that's my unopened limited edition Auto Assault box. That was actually the first MMO I ever worked on. Homeboy too, I think, right?
Which one? Auto Assault?
Yeah.
First MMO I ever worked on?
I mean, unless you count Dark Continents, but that never shipped.
Yeah, and I didn't do a ton of work on it, but yeah, absolutely. Auto Assault, that's got a standee right there. So, if you check out the standee over here, the large breasted lady in the center there was basically the mascot for the human faction, and I wrote their storyline, and then to her right over there is what was her name? Is the mutant mascot as well?
Yeah, that's
Snipey wrote all of the mutant stuff and all the mutant lore.
that's Angelica Diaz.
Angelica Diaz, that's right. And that's I'm trying to think of her name. It's Vine Addiction was her thing.
Yeah, but she was an actress.
But she was an actress, exactly.
I was
Can't
like
remember her name.
maybe 7.
And then the dude over here,
at the time.
the other dude was the head of the Biomechs, or at least their like
Yeah.
champion figure.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
But
Hank or something.
technically,
Yeah.
it's the first game I worked on too because I play tested for that
That's
game
true.
before it was ever released.
That's
so
true.
7, 8-year-old me, I was already in the industry. I've been in the industry since I was 7 years old.
Box
Badass.
person.
Printing on the 3D printer right now is the other half of the thing that holds the plastic spool for the 3D printer.
Oh my,
Witness
it's a big
slinkiness.
No, that's later.
We're being very productive.
I'm gonna try to fix my my filament real quick.
Up here next to our backwards for you, thank you for believing sign is a sketch of myself and Omwa as fantasy characters that one of the amazingly awesome Ilphonic artists did for us. That's an EU Auto Assault. Those are fucking Call the Conqueror comics, by the way. That shit's legit.
Yep, and Young Adventures of Indiana Jones as well, which is also pretty cool.
Hell yeah, I didn't even know that existed. And then over here, a bunch of other stuff we worked on. Jumpgate, which is the space combat MMO from like the early 2000s, stuff like that.
Space simulator.
Filament fixed. I beat Mega Man too.
And we'll actually have a better camera and stuff set up the next time we stream. I just had to run, a USB camera down really quick because the rest isn't set up.
Cool, man.
Cool. See you
Yeah,
later.
Jumpgate.
Hell yeah, dude. Jumpgate is
Seriously cool. And there's
Jumpgate
a
is why I
fan.
went to work on Auto Assault.
There's a fan run Jumpgate server up
Yeah, right now.
right now for free.
Yep.
You can just
Run by some very kind folks in Russia who I will not question in any way, shape, or form.
Yep.
They're also
Whatever,
very
guys.
dedicated too. They reprogrammed the flux and
Yeah, they've done some
Yeah, they're
patching.
actually expanding the game. They're continuing to work on it.
Exactly, it's pretty
Yeah,
good.
which is really
So-
cool.
worth playing, especially if you're a spaceship guy, or gal,
Yep.
Yeah.
and you like to
Our,
do the sticks and throttle. I guess some people play keyboard and mouse, but I think that's madness.
I've played a keyboard and mouse before, but no, it's hands on throttle and stick, man.
I don't. My brain doesn't know how to fly the ship without
Our
sticks.
our current clients, the people who are actually paying to keep all of the stuff here running, they are actually
Thank you very much.
members of that original Jumpgate team built the company we're working with right now.
Absolutely.
All right. Any more questions? Otherwise, I suppose we'll sign off.
Yeah, and again, thanks.
TIE Fighter was amazing, by the way.
Yes, indeed. Thanks for showing up, and thank you for believing.
Thank you for believing. It's backwards, though.
You guys are awesome.
Cool.
Big fat thanks.
We'll keep you informed, and now I'm gonna go write more text for the website.
We're going to do this every Tuesday, by the way.
Yeah.
Indeed.
And as we move forward, we'll have more and more to show. So
Correct.
definitely come back.
Stay tuned.
And I
Look
think
towards the future.
I think-
Follow, tell your friends.
3 o'clock our time every Tuesday is probably a decent time to do this. So that's going to be the plan. We did it a little late today, but I like 3 better.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
3 is good. I can throw it on the schedule even.
Mhm.
And of course, we have other stuff we do every night.
Yep.
because
Yeah,
this is
exactly.
the DOP
As the
crew.
DOP crew, we play games every day.
When I wear the
Yeah.
other hat.
I'm gonna join you guys later tonight. We're gonna play some Stardew Valley because it's nice and relaxed.
Nice.
We can,
Nice. Did the queen ever live long?
Queen? No, the queen was
Yeah.
poisoned by chocolate.
Again.
Well, yeah, she even yelled for charcoal, and our maid took her sweet ass time, and we died.
Oh, I don't trust that maid.
Sure,
No.
I agree, Rose. Perhaps I shall.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Mm,
I wish there was some way for the bot to just tell you what was coming. Some,
yeah, that
some
would be
I don't know,
sweet.
schedule feature or something. I don't know why nobody's thought of that.
I know, it's crazy.
It's amazing. Oh yeah, and if you want to play Ark, I hear there's a cool server open.
I did. I heard that as well.
Oh yeah, I did.
A
Every
role
messaged
playing
me
server.
about that,
RP
yeah.
friendly, in fact.
I
Absolutely.
like that.
Stargates even.
That's right. There are Stargates.
Stargates, really?
Yeah, they're Stargates.
Wow.
I heard some strange.
I didn't hear about
medieval
that. I knew that would work.
All right.
All right, we'll see you all later.
Great. Peace. Stay safe.